little yoga bears. It's a great day today. I'd like to tell you a story. So about 1,000 years ago, I was walking down the street, and up above there was a big yellow bird, and it had a backpack on its back. It was flying through the sky. And from the other direction, from the other end of the world, a blue bird was flying the other way. And they were flying towards each other, so up high in the sky, and suddenly they crashed into each other. Now the big yellow bird was so shocked that he dropped that backpack, and it fell down through the sky, through the clouds, and it hit me on top of the head. I almost fell over. I was so surprised. But then I looked at this backpack and I opened it up and I found something inside it. A little book. This book, which is called Yoga Bear's Storybook, The Land of Dreams. Wow, it was so amazing. These wonderful dreams in here, and I'd like to read one for you today. So please, lie back and enjoy the show. Dream number 2. Red tomatoes. Close your eyes and imagine you are in your bedroom and there's a little box on the floor. It's red and has the number 6 written on top. Now you've been sitting there all day and you haven't even noticed it. But now you kneel down next to it to see what's inside. You've got a stripy sock on your left foot and it feels cold. Your right foot sock has red dots all over it and feels very warm. On your left hand is a beautiful green glove made out of lettuce. The glove on your right hand is made of wool, and your little finger sticks out. A little puppy sits down next to you, next to the box. He is very playful and wants to chew on his own tail. He looks up at you with his big brown eyes, and it's like he's talking to you with his mind. He is saying, a tree is a tree is a tree is a fence, and I jump over it 2,000,000 times. Every time I jump over, it changes color. Then I lie down beside the fire and have a sleep and dream of when I was old, sitting in a car and wearing glasses. You tell him, look, the box has also changed color. Now it's brown, just like you. In that second, he disappears. And in his place, a piece of chocolate rests on the floor. You pick it up and put it in your mouth. It tastes like dog fur. Now you look at the box again, and it is starting to open from the top. It creaks, just like a door opening. Creak. You don't know what to expect, but a little head sticks out. The head of a ferret. Its pointy nose has cobwebs all over it, and he can't see you because he has sunglasses on. He gets out of the box and falls on the floor. He's very old and has a walking stick. He's blind, but he can sniff something. He knows it's you. He stands up tall on his hind legs and reaches out a paw. Mr. Haircuts, at your service. You shake his paw, and when you touch him, an electric shock runs up your arm all the way to the top of your head. It makes you stand up and spin around 3 times. Then it makes you laugh 27 times. He waits for you, sniffing the air. When you stop, you feel funny all over, like there's raspberry jam on your hands. He laughs now and points at you. Ha! You got jammed. All of a sudden, a bell rings, and the box lid opens again. Yoga Bear sticks his blue head out and falls on the ground. He must have been on a diet, because he is the same height as this little ferret. They do a high five together, yeah, and wiggle their butts, slap each other on the cheek, and say at the same time, "Booyah, baby!" Yoga Bear lies down next to you and goes to sleep. He's very tired. Mr. Haircuts jumps up onto your shoulder and has a very serious face. He whispers into your ear, "I've got a special secret for you. I must tell you right away." You agree with him and imagine that the sky up above suddenly folds itself into an envelope and falls into the box like a letter being sent to the Queen. Mr. Haircuts tells you an amazing story. Once there was a young prince who lived up high in a tall yellow tower, and every day he would look out over the edge and cry tears of tomato sauce. The sauce would pour down onto his grandmother, who always sat at the bottom doing her knitting. She was pretty smart, so one day she put a bucket on her rocking chair, and when it filled up with tomato sauce, she would take it to the market to sell. Everyone loved her famous saucy slops, and she became very wealthy. Finally, she had enough money to buy a black ladder that went all the way up to the stars, and she leaned it against the tower. She climbed all the way up to the top and jumped into the young prince's bedroom. There he was, rolling on the floor, laughing with Yoga Bear. They were both covered in tomato sauce, and their hair was all red. In the middle of the room, there was a giant soup pot, with a large wooden stirrer. The prince and Yoga Bear would take a big run up and dive into the soup, splashing it everywhere. So the granny decided to join in, and she jumped into the soup as well. Then they all sat on the floor, licking their lips and talking about the football. Mr. Haircuts ends his story with a sneeze, achoo! And then has a big sigh. And then he says to you, did you know that Yoga Bear had to swim in the river every day for a week to wash out all that tomato sauce? But don't tell anyone, because he only swims between 2 and 3 in the afternoon when it's raining. Now Yoga Bear was still lying down next to you, deeply asleep. He didn't hear any of that story, but he does start humming in his sleep. He's singing a song about the rain. The rain in Spain has 3 toes, one for the morning and one on his nose. The other he keeps in his hat. It makes him look silly and fat. When I am thirsty, I look to the sky, and the monkeys all burp and then start to fly. And then it rains all day, and then it rains all day long. You and Mr. Haircut start laughing, and Yoga Bear wakes up. He pulls a handkerchief out of his shoe and rubs his nose. Suddenly, a chipmunk walks into the room, and he's holding a ball of light blue wool. He gets you to hold on to one end of it, and then Yoga Bear holds on too. Next in line is Mr. Haircuts, and finally in front is the chipmunk. He opens the lid on the box, which has now turned to white, and gets ready to jump in. We're all going to follow him, because everyone's holding the thread of wool. 1, 2, 3, 6, 11, 24, and then off we go. Inside the white box, we are falling fast, down and down for days. We all hold on tight to the line of the wool. And finally the chipmunk yells out, "Get ready, we're about to land." We start to slow down, and then you can feel soft clouds around your ankles. Inside the white box, the whole world is turned upside down. So actually, we've been flying up, not down. Now you are hanging from the clouds by your ankles, and all the little sparrows around your head are flying past. One of them comes up close and kisses you on the lips. Another one sits in one of your pockets and makes a little nest. He goes to sleep, and you make sure that you are very gentle with him. He is so small, and you can see his lungs moving as he breathes. He trusts you because he knows you will look after him. And That's the end of the story. Thanks, little yoga bears. I hope you liked that little dream. I'll be back soon to read you another story.